There we go. So yes, indeed. So we have a special guest. I call her Dr. Natasha Williams, as we just know that they're going to put that in the atmosphere. But Natasha Williams, I'm gonna let her tell her story, but she is your new council-elect. She is the new council person for District 6 in the city of South Fulton. And without further ado, I'm gonna let her have the entire floor, and then we'll pick back up at questions. So Dr. Williams, this is your show.
Well, that might be dangerous. The good evening to all. I hope that everyone had a very Merry Christmas, long weekend. Tis the season, and certainly, as we begin to transition from Christmas to New Year's, I also want to wish everyone a very happy and safe New Year's. If you do go out to cities, wear your mask. COVID is running amok in the streets once again. And we want to make sure that all of our residents start the new year off safe and healthy and happy. In terms of me, yes, my name is Natasha Williams, and I am the newly elected councilwoman to represent District 6. I will be replacing Mayor-elect Khalid. We will officially be sworn in on January 4th. So, sooner rather than later, I will be taking the reins and moving forward. And actually, before we went live, Corey and I were just talking about the ways in which we can collaborate, since we both represent Old National, and, we are both, living along Old National, and we want to, just really look at ways that 5, 6, and 7 can begin to partner. One, it's less time consuming and certainly more budget friendly for us to work together. But number 2, some of the things that I think we all want to see done, and I'm certainly interested in hearing from you this evening on the things that you would like to see. But I think that some of the things that we want to see done along the Old National Corridor are going to take concerted and cooperative efforts to get done. We cannot work in a vacuum on a corridor that stretches from Sullivan Road to 138. And so to the extent possible, I think that, and I hope that you will begin to see a lot more collaboration between the council members. As you know, Old National has 3 council members representing it, which is almost half of the council. And so we should, I think, be able to begin to make some headway, as we begin to tackle some of the thornier problems, what we like to call wicked problems in public administration, and, begin to write the next chapter of what comes next for all of us here in the city of South Fulton. And so I will stop there and turn it back over to Corey. But, I'm looking forward to the next hour, and certainly looking forward to being able to meet everyone in person, once it's safe for us to all gather together again. We had a brief moment of fun, and now it looks like we're headed back into lockdown, but I'm hopeful that, this will be the last wave and we can all get our lives back to normal. And so with that, Corey, the floor is once again yours.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for that, as I do look for continued collaborations. And so as we will be having another election for District 7, so coming soon. So
that's right. That's right.
So we do want to, you will have you have a new face in Dr. Natasha Williams, and there will be another new face for District 7. And so, but whoever that face is, we will definitely ensure that you will be represented well, and working together with a shared vision on pushing your agenda forward. And that's the people's agenda. And so does anybody have any questions for Sister Williams. Where you from originally?
So I am originally from Gary, Indiana. Yes, no, I did not know Michael Jackson. I'm a few years younger. However, my mother did teach Michael Jackson in elementary school. I'm sure, as you know, Michael Jackson is a hometown hero. The Jacksons all are hometown hero. Their house is actually not too far from my family's church, the church we attend in Gary's. But we moved here in 1978, following my parents' divorce. And so I arrived in Atlanta in September of 1978. I grew up in District 3 in Vermont Estates, and obviously didn't move too far from home. So I've lived out in South Fulton for 42 years now.
So you just a regular old homegirl.
You know, a regular old homegirl. I've been here a while.
But get this, I'll tell you what, every time somebody said Gary, Indiana, I just, hey, Michael Jackson, like, you know, and I know that's the claim to fame. And but
well, you know, actually, Raj on What's Happening, he's also from Gary, Indiana as well.
Now that's a factoid that I did not know. And I used to like what's happening and what's happening now. And but that's all good. And so, and as you know, I call you Dr. Natasha Williams, right? But as elaborate on that, why, you know, I know people want, you know, officially, but I put it in the atmosphere, but we want you to officially just go ahead and put that out.
So Corey calls me doctor because I have been officially admitted to candidacy. In October, actually, I defended my dissertation proposal and was officially admitted to candidacy for my doctorate in public administration. And so that will be forthcoming in 2022, hopefully before I get married, because I got to get that done before I get too far deep into wedding stuff. But I'm working on collecting my data now so that I can graduate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that will make 3 doctors that we have on this council, and so 2 of them being from Old National.
Oh, National, that's right.
That's just my healthy observation, though. I'm not saying anything, but I'm gonna just, you know, I'm gonna tee that up every single time.
But
and this is Jane. Congratulations, Councilwoman. Congratulations. You got a lot of firsts going here.
I do. Thank you. But, you know, I think, Corey, that it's important. And I'm not braggadocious in any, well, like, you know, I have flashes of it. I think we all do. But I think that it is so vitally important that we keep telling people that narrative, that Old National Highway is not the clubs and the this and the that, you know, and the violence and the stuff that gets reported on the news. We are, you know, we work, we get up, we go to our jobs every day, we come home, we pay our bills, we raise our kids. You know, we're businessmen, we're doctors, we're lawyers, you know, we're nurses, we're teachers. We are, you know, so much more than what the news puts out there. You know, certainly I'm not the only person, and Mark's not the only person that has, you know, graduate level education. And more of that needs to be told, because as long as the news gets to tell your story, they're going to tell the negatives, right? You know, if it bleeds, it leads. We've really, I think, got to begin to push back on the narrative that this is quote unquote old nasty. And, you know, this is just kind of the dumping ground for, you know, all the undesirable things people don't want in their district or in their neighborhoods. You know, we are a very vibrant committee. We're a very vibrant community. And, you know, we are just as important to the health of the city as all the other districts are. And, I'm really, really hoping that we can begin to turn the page. We can work together to begin to turn the page, to tell the story of, the Old National that is, and not as opposed to the Old National in the imaginations of, people who think they know us.
Absolutely. And don't worry about leaving the braggadocious to do Doctor's representing this area over here, because I'm going to just do all of that. And so,
I'm sorry, Councilman Reeves. So I'm so happy that, we're all collaborating together. And I think that is very, positive. But how will you start to make the news positive about the city of South Fulton or Old National? And also, when we talk about Old National, I don't want us to forget that, there are other areas that encompass Old National, because sometimes, some areas feel as if they are forgotten. So how do we, report better news? I mean, what are we doing to make Old National and the city of South Fulton better, so that the news can report better?
So my undergraduate degree is radio, TV, broadcast journalism. A lot of times, one of the things that you need to know about journalists is that they're always hunting for a story.
Mm-hmm.
I've already had some preliminary conversations with the communication director, Gary Lefwich, about doing a better job of getting the press releases out there, getting the information into the hands of the journalists. Because you turn on your TV, I've taken the classes, I can tell you, you turn on your TV, like I said, if it bleeds, it leads. The cliche about, dog bites, man is not news, man bites, dog is. And like, that's literally what they teach us in class. But I've already had the conversation about doing a better job of the press releases. Doing one of the things that I've kind of got tucked away in my toolbox for after I'm sworn in is to begin to get reporters to come when it's something good. If you and I had talked about the South Fulton Neighbor, if getting particularly a small newspaper like that, there's the digital one, the home rule news, I think that Dominique Huff does, where we can get the reporters to come do human interest stories. So before we all came on, Corey and I were talking about how there were 5 different toy drives for Christmas for the kids along the Old National Corridor. What if we had what if we all came together, joined our efforts, collaboratively had one big toy drive and then had the news come cover it? You see how you begin to seed the news with the positive information about the things that are happening.
Because I never see the news people out with stuff like that.
Right. And that's because you have to go to them with more than just the negative.
And otherwise start a relationship, like develop a rapport at least with one, so that they can start reporting.
Right. Because if you think about it, if you've got the city of South Fulton picks up at Checkers and it runs all the way to 138, that's a lot of ground to have to cover. Getting back to things that were happening when we were part of unincorporated Fulton County. So like the, I don't know if you all remember the back to school stuff that Emma Darnell used to have in the Kroger parking lot, where, you know, she just took out, she had the bouncy houses and the book bag giveaways. It was like the whole Kroger parking lot for a Saturday was taken over so that she could do that. Those are the kinds of things that you can put out a press release, get the press to come, get them to come cover it, put those positive images out under the human interest category. So that when you do have something negative that happens, you know, you've got one negative thing, but we've provided them with 10 positive things. And people will start to see it differently. But we got to give them something different to see. And what I can tell you is that if developers definitely see it, you know, because they're trying to come in and snap up everything they can, you know, to build their stuff, you know, here close by the airport. So clearly we are not getting the word out the way we need to get the word out. And I think that working with Corey and Mark and whoever will replace Mark to do that is going to be a huge step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. And also, you know, you don't have to even stop there. You know, you can bring in whatever representative is over this area, because I believe it may be one person or congressperson, you know, that's in this area too, just to, you know, continue to collaborate, you know, everybody's efforts.
Right. Or, you know, it's something if we were to have, you know, the legislature is going to come into session in a couple weeks in January. If we have one big town hall with our South Fulton delegation, right off the bat, we've got a story, because the news is going to, you see what I'm saying? So we have a combined town hall, have the South Fulton delegation come, get the reporters, they're going to follow the South Fulton delegation. It's an election year. They're looking for stories about the legislature. Here we are on TV coming together as a community to hear from our legislators and ask whatever questions we have about the upcoming legislative session. You know, bam, right there, instant positive news story opportunity.
Yes, indeed. And then we got somebody new to the delegation as well coming on after they just did the redistricting. And so and we're going to speak about that too, as I'm going to get the new map. Some of the districts have changed numbers, like 63 and 69. And so we're going to get that to you guys updated. Hopefully I have that this week so I can provide that information next Monday so that we can all be well informed as that election is happening next year as well. So
hey, Corey, that's somebody's TV or something. I can't.
If anybody's not talking, if you can mute your phone, that'll be pleased, and thanks. And so, yes, absolutely. And I'm saying, and I'm excited, and also too that we have another representative from District 4, J.C. Sabathian, and of course our mayor-elect, Councilman Khalid. I call him Mayor. And so, and I invite everybody individually, so everybody can get to know each one of them individually. And hopefully our mayor-elect will be able to get on the schedule too, because I wanted to do them in succession. And so hopefully get on the schedule and join us and come talk to the community about the new and exciting things and as mayor. And so, and it's an exciting time. I feel that the atmosphere is electric. And also too, there's, but I do want to pay attention to one thing that Dr. Williams said is like public administration, which is public policy. And so that a history record of doing this as well in other areas, but now bringing that talent to municipality and offering, because a lot of things that can be done is a simple policy change. And that's some things is adding language to and strengthen it and then coming in. And I think that is going to be helpful going forward, because we can put in new legislation, but there's some legislation we just need to go back and tweak, because that whole we brought this over from Fulton County, that's a broken record to me. So it's let's just fix it,
Right.
and then move on.
It was the bridge that got us over. But now going in and looking at, okay, what's unique to our city that we need. So for example, one of the things I heard consistently while I was campaigning was the complaints about the trash in the rights of way. Why does Old National look like this? Why is there trash everywhere? And without bogging down into too many policy details, because Corey will tell you I can go down the policy rabbit hole real fast. But what it comes down to is bringing over a contract from Fulton County, basically having the same terms and conditions in the contract that we brought over. And now, realizing that we need more frequent street cleaning than what Fulton County was providing. That's a simple contract amendment. We need to go back in and amend the contract and say, okay, we know that you have been providing this service, and I'm gonna use this as an example so nobody go out into the streets and say, Natasha said, but for example, the contract says that the streets are supposed to be cleaned every 6 weeks, but we realize now that we really need to have that done every 2 weeks. We can go and amend that contract and say we want this done every 2 weeks. Contracts get amended every day, all the time. It's those kinds of things that can be tweaked. That's something small that is going to make a huge difference in how the corridor looks, as you travel from end to end. Street sweepers, if having worked in downtown Atlanta for a long time, at a certain point at night, they come through with the street sweepers and they sweep the streets. That's something that's very common sense. But when, I thought about it, I realized I'd never seen a street sweeper on Old National. Hey, put a street sweeper out there. When you come through and you get up all the trash and everything from the right of way, have the street sweeper out as well to keep the streets clean, particularly on a commercial corridor that has a lot of food. And I know that we've all seen the people at the bus stop eating, because if you miss your MARTA bus, it's going to be, 11 days before the next one comes. So, we've all seen the people at the bus stops, they're eating, they're drinking their coffee, they're having their Coke or whatever while they wait. And that kind of stuff piles up real quick. So, it's simple things like that we can go and take another look at.
Absolutely. And so, and one of the things I know that we have preliminary talked about was having the on the street sweepers, because is to contract out, like Walmart has street sweepers, and then they have one that do the Old National Commons, is because they're talking about an expense of these sweepers and how much they cost, and then the return on the investment is very low. And that's like the street sweeper that they said was up for Fulton County. It's been in the shop since they gave it to us, so they say. So, and
that's what I was going to ask, Councilman. Is there a fee for that, or do we own the street sweeper?
I call it a street sweeper gate because I have yet to see a street sweeper, but I don't get into the details and weeds of that. I just hear what they tell me. But I do know that we have a sanitation ordinance on the books coming up when it's due for its first read, and that addresses comprehensive and addresses a lot of this stuff. And also too is bringing back environmental court. And one of the things that that I want the litter laws. And so Vegas has has a tremendous ordinance in place. They're one of the cleanest cities in America, actually. It's like people don't realize that because they think of the Strip, but I'm talking about the city overall is. And because as I think I made this known plenty of times, I wish that we had our own sanitation department. That that's my dream. And so my other dream is that we get part of this Midwater Water Authority. So we cut the umbilical cord to Atlanta. And of course, it is a capital improvement. We will see the over time investment of it being well worth it 15 to 20 years from now, but I'm not naive to that. But what comes with sanitation, because there's a lot of infrastructure that goes along with that. And I think you control your water, you control your sewer, you control the destiny of your future, because that infrastructure is so vitally needed. And I'm just waiting for somebody to punch in the code, because they got a whole ATM up in DC waiting, and and Warnock is running. And so I'm asking, hey, where's the infrastructure check? Because by right, I think that we have entitlement because we are a new city. So we should get some of that money straight to us, and hopefully that staff will be due diligent in seeking out that, so knowing the needs of the city. And so sometimes it's good to hit a reset button too, and just kind of slow things down, just hit a little reset just to gather everything else and bring everybody up to speed, and so we can all be operating from the same book and the same chapter on the same page. And so but we have challenges, as everybody does. And how do you get over that? Just like hurdles, one at a time. So we just got to be patient. And this is the long game, and we just going to keep going forward and progressing forward. And so anybody have any more questions? I know Jane, like Flat Show, that's Flat Shows for you. She's on Flat Shows. That's
Yes,
Corey. Yes,
Corey.
yes.
This is Don Sumlin. I've got a question. You mentioned the street sweepers. I haven't seen a street sweeper in several years. Are we paying for that?
No. Okay, Walmart is the property owners. Like Walmart they contract out to the street sweeper this one, and then Old National Commons is the same one. So until we are getting a handle on the sanitation, it's been discussed that we look at that same vendor to when we need a street sweeper or something swept, to just contract out to them, and they can go do that. And so it'll basically an on-call service agreement. So
well, we used to have street sweepers who came to the neighborhoods and swept the streets. That's no longer happening. And I can say I've been remiss, I guess, in being active in the communities here. I've had my issues, but I see some things that our council people and whomever, and also community leaders, we need to fight for some things that we need in the communities. I have some issues also with safety in terms of Fairwood Drive and 29 and all the buildings going on. I mean, it's going to be hell getting out of here in emergency. We got trains up there. Is anybody doing anything about it? I know they talked about it, but are they doing anything about putting at least a traffic light up at Fairwood? Now, I've been missing on a lot of these calls, but I really just want to know. I mean, because I haven't seen any movement, but
yes, because you can't hardly get out of Fairwood going down on 29. I mean, it is almost ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you're trying to turn to go to the left,
right,
coming down Fairwood, traveling, I guess, north, and you try to turn left, it is ridiculous.
Right. These are the kind of things that we really, to be able to, it's nice to have a nice publicity, but the people who are living down here really need to be able to live in a safe environment, including
that's exactly right.
All those kind of things. They're just
so get this. So one is I agree with you, because we did have a call with the community, and I'm still researching this, because one is a gate arm for the train that constantly blocks the track. And right. I'm done. And let me I'm just gonna be completely honest. I'm done with trying to have a conversation with CSX and trying to mitigate the issue with them, because they always interstate commerce, and they say you keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's insanity. So the next thing is let's see where we can purchase the air rights and just build a bridge right over that, and so come up with a design. And I know because this plan got accepted in Union City just a few miles down the road, so I know it can be done. That's number one. And then so that's the conversation that I'm on, because that's the only thing that's gonna really mitigate that factor. Because that second line they built, which is the holding track, they just seem to kind of just hold it right there where it's an intersection, instead of just miles down the road there where there's no intersection and miles of track that can't hold it. But I digress with that information because it's frustrating to the fact because they literally claim everything interstate commerce, and it's like a revolving door.
So
It's just
let,
go ahead.
Corey.
let me throw some nuance in there. Because CSX is right in terms of it being interstate commerce. When it becomes an issue of interstate commerce, that is when we need to go to David Scott because and Warnock and Ossoff, because interstate commerce has to be handled at the federal level. So that we need to make them aware that we've got a local problem that touches interstate commerce law, because that is true, it does. The next part is with getting the traffic lights is going to require some coordination with the Georgia DOT, because where Fairwood may be a local street, 29 is not. And we're gonna have to, again, this is where we need to be sitting down with the South Fulton delegation to have them help us work through getting a light there at that intersection. And of course, that, with an election year coming up, both for the state, the state and the federal, this is a great time to tell people that they need to throw some pork our way, because, they want our votes. So now is the time to begin reminding people that, we need you to deliver a few things for us so that we can have a better quality of life.
And thank you, Dr. Williams, for that, because that is just where I was going. Because remember those infrastructure dollars I was saying, they have a ATM waiting, and because we're a new city, that they can come that way. And so that is exactly what I'm talking about, because they do claim interstate commerce, and right. And since David Scott is a representative of this area, then I would think that the problems that exist he's aware of. And one of the things is this: I just don't understand why a traffic light hasn't been put there, because I can't comprehend in my head that when people ask for speed bumps, the first thing they ask for is a traffic study. But we can build 500 additional homes, area have warehouses and yet and still, but the houses, you had that, and nobody asked for a traffic study to add a light at Fairwood and Roosevelt Highway 29, Mallory and Road and Highway 29. And there is for the ones who was asking about Buffington Road and Roosevelt, there is actually a project, and I asked Mr. Valenzuela to provide me that information, as I love to get the subject matter experts to provide the actual information of not just a picture showing, but a timeline of construction, a start and completion date, anticipated completion date, and so, but a hard start date. And so, and that's what I like to report, because I hear the complaints, but I have nothing to come back with you on. But these things are in the process. And as he says, he's gonna give me that drawing. Now, Fairwood and Mallory connecting the Roosevelt Highway. Well, just happened to be driving about a couple of weeks ago and found out they was doing some little drilling on the side of the bridge. So usually when they do that, they get ready to do some work. There's an entire bridge replacement coming right there on Roosevelt Highway in between. So, and that's slated to start in 2 years. And so, and I'm working with them now just to add to that budget on that project, the lights right there, because their GDOT and CSX are completely funding this project. And so, but there's so many other things going with that, because I'm asking for money for Stacks Road Bridge replacement. but that's still getting ready to be repaired. But I'm still waiting on our construction start date. So these things that y'all are talking about a community, I'm listening to you well, because I do for entertainment reading, and because I don't watch TV, is I do listen, look at next door. I just don't comment. So I already hear I know what's going on. But until I get the information from them in writing, I have nothing to report to the community as of yet, because the questions have been asked. And my next move is to get their contact as well, and to share their contact so that you can call them direct as well, or leave a message or email. Because at some point in time, we, like I said, like Sister Williams said, is they're gonna be asking my vote. I mean, what am I trying to vote for? It's seeming like y'all can't bust a grape in a fruit fight right now. But the infrastructure dollars, and that is a commitment that you this is what you can do. This is what I know, this is what you can do. And because we are a new city, that gives us the absolute right that you can do more. And so and you should do more. And so as the quality of life issues is number one on the agenda list. And
excuse me, Councilman Reeves, I'm sorry. There was somebody gonna speak before I spoke, so I don't
let
want to
them.
take
You
their
want
time.
them? Whoever was gonna speak before Jane, because Jane, you was just hogging the microphone.
Yes, I was going to speak. Just Miss Johnson.
Hey,
Hey,
Miss
Ms. Johnson.
Johnson.
I was going to speak on the sweepers. Okay, as Mr. Summerlin was saying, well, I used to have sweepers come in during the springtime and during the wintertime. But once we became to be the city of South Fulton, we see no more sweepers out here. And also the drain from the leaves and the pine straw. I just had Jacob come out here and unstop a drain. So these are the kind of things we need to see. I understand you all saying, you know, we have other districts, so we just don't want to be paying for sweepers on Old National. We need to be swept in the neighborhood and down Fairwood. I just want to make that very clear.
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Get this. The sweepers, we was just speaking about that, you know, that specific area at that time. But the sweeper is no change or deviation from the services that was offered before, the service delivery that was offered before when it was Fulton County. It's just now on an on-call basis, as when you call and they'll schedule it out as needed until we get, like I said, it's going to having our sanitation. And so, but that limb pickup, tree, I mean, it's very comprehensive under the sanitation ordinance. That it's like that's just the main dish, but there's so many side dishes that's with that specifically addresses these issues. And so go ahead.
Councilman,
and before, so one of the things that I'm going to do, because the question I asked was, well, I want to see the contract that's with Jacobs. So I'm gonna get with Valenzuela, because I need, before we can see how to add it, we need to see what's actually written in the contract and what the terms and conditions are. And then once we do that, then we can start to say, okay, Jacobs, if we want you to come through once a month and trim back these trees and do this brush, how much is it going to cost? You know, if we need you to do street sweeping, you know, major corridors once a week, side streets, you know, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, how much is that going to cost? Because from what I'm understanding, the contract is up, I think, in next year. And so if we're going to renegotiate, now's the time to be looking to see what it says and get them to give us a quote on what it would cost for what we actually need. Because we're still operating under the Fulton County contract, you know, that Fulton County terms and conditions.
Right. And so, remember I was saying bringing everything over from Fulton County. And so while some things just need to be tweaked and changed up.
Some things just need to be changed.
That's one major deal. But however, I'm gonna digress from that because I'm gonna let you get that. I'm gonna let you get that contract, and you'll see after the first 2 pages.
Councilman Reeves. Oh, okay. So, you know, I hear everything that you all are saying, and it's good. You know, it comes a time when the community got to see some action. And I know some things are probably out of y'all's hands or out of your control, you know. And I am a firm believer that votes matter. So, you know, and I think the city of South Fulton is relying too much sometimes on this see-click fix. Okay, call us and then we'll come out, you know, and then we got to wait another month or so before they come out and do whatever. Or they got to tell us it's a DOT problem, because I called about a crosswalk that was down over here at Fairwood and Flat Shoals Road. Okay, so they said, okay, well, that's the DOT problem. Well, okay, well, that was 6 months ago. DOT hasn't done anything yet about that. And I called about the crosswalk at Buffington and Flat Shoals by the Procter & Gamble building. But I guess, like you're saying, that there may be some kind of project coming up, because at that time, I think that was last year, either early in the summer. And they said that see-click fix has been closed because of, I don't know, a project or something, which, you know, they didn't elaborate on it. So, you know, I don't know what it's going to take for us to see something. I mean, and I don't want whoever it is that's cutting these trees, I don't want them to come on Flat Shoals Road and chop trees. You know, that's not a solution for you to come and chop a tree and leave, you know, you just chopping part of it and it looks like a chop and not an actual cut or, you know, anything like that. No, you know, it should be a certain level of degree that you have about the job and the duties that you're doing, not you. I'm just talking about whoever it is that's cutting these trees. And so I don't know what's going on with the light. You know, they had this, City of South Fulton had this study with the street lights, I guess. I mean, I think I might have missed the last one or whatever, but anywho, so there are things we need here, you know, for quality of life that we're talking about, you know, better lighting, sidewalks that lead somewhere instead of nowhere, and, you know, broken up sidewalks, and, you know, overgrown tree limbs and overgrown grass. And when I leave from, you know, the city of South Fulton and I get into the city of Union City, when it's dark, I can definitely tell the difference, because the city of South Fulton is dark. And the city of Union City that's lit up down here on Flat Shoals Road is lit up. It's, you know, it's lights. And I would definitely be afraid to walk.
Do you know what pays for that? Do you know what pays for those lights? The sidewalks, T-Splot. Right?
T-Splot?
Right. Transportation specialist. So
well, City of South Fulton don't have T-Splot. We can't get in it. I mean, we just passed the bill.
No. Check this out.
Oh, okay.
I specifically put that project in to the T-Splot to continue where Union City left off, to continue on through our technical boundaries, all up through Flat Shoals.
Okay.
That's under transportation, right? And so get this, and talking with my colleagues over in Union City, if possible, get the same contract, right? Just continue right on through there. And but of course, you know what I mean, where there's, if DBE is able to get that contract and do it, then fulfill that obligation. But we want the same exact thing. It's a continuation. And so, and that's why Dr. Williams missed this last week, but I did announce legislative goals for myself that I'll be looking at, because that exact issue right there is, why is it taking this long to have transportation projects implemented? We're going into the 6th year. T-Splot don't last 5. And so that's why I'm gonna move Department of Transportation from under Public Works in its own department, so we can better address that with the actual subject matter experts, so we can get transportation projects, not just in books, but actually done, completed,
Right.
check mark.
So,
And
and let
go
me
ahead.
let me add to that, because I had orientation on Monday and Wednesday with, you know, each department head coming in to do their thing. And one of the things that struck me that, you know, I want to circle back to with the city manager is the structure of some of the departments. Because when they put their org charts up and then started going through what it is that they do, there are some departments that are just completely out of balance with the work that they're being asked to do and the people that they have to do the work. And I think, Corey, keep me honest, I think it was the Public Works presentation where for some reason they decided he didn't need a deputy director. And so, you know, you've got a director, but no assistants, no deputies, and a handful of people trying to run this massive operation. And it doesn't work. One, because it's not possible for those few people to do the amount of work that has to get done. And two, now you begin to understand, you know, because now you've got the spillover effects, right? So you've got a director with a small department that's having to do a huge amount of work. When you put people in that situation where we know government doesn't pay anything, you know, you don't go to work for the government because you want to get rich. You're being asked to do the job of 3, 4, 5 people with, you know, no help. And now we've got massive amounts of turnover in these departments. Well, looking at the org chart, you can begin to understand why. You begin to understand why things aren't getting done. So there's some departments we're going to have to circle back to, and we're going to have to look at not just they have vacant positions that need to be filled, but there are positions that are missing entirely that need to be there if the work is going to get done.
Absolutely.
And then can I say one thing? Okay, I'm looking at the quality of work. I walk my neighborhood every day. So when Jacob comes out to cut the grass, and nobody come to your house and cut your grass and cut paper up in the grass, and you got paper all cut up in the grass, they should do quality work, first of all, by picking up the paper before you cut the grass. I guess they think we're just satisfied with that. And I have expressed that plenty. I am not satisfied with them coming out here doing half-tacky work. And I gotta call you and remind you to come cut my grass, cut the grass. No,
Yes.
that don't work.
Yes, ma'am. Get this, Sister Johnson. That's going to be addressed in the contractional issue. So that is duly noted, and so trust and believe that sentiment, as I do know you walk the community every morning, and so we will.
And Councilman Reed, not to cut you off.
No, well, you do it all the time, like, you know what I'm saying.
Let's start. We're gonna go on this police force, this police patrol, and all that. Now, I know somebody was saying, well, you know,
Well, I wanted to, you know, because you talked about, what was you just talking about just before?
Quality of life, quality of service, work in the community, what voting.
So right. So one of the things is we did have a deputy director of public works, New South Waltel, but we lost him as director over to Atlanta's system. So because they came and he was a good talent, and so that position is now vacant. But and just when you see that the org chart and how that's just it's interesting. And so, but what I'm speaking of is not having a director over 4 departments. I'm talking about having each department having a director who only reports to the city manager, because see, that system will have 1 over 4. That doesn't even work in the totality of getting projects done, because they would have to sign off on it. And some people are more aggressive than others. And so I like the aggressiveness to do the right work, do the quality work, and but just do the work. And so because those T-Spots dollars are for transportation, and I don't like it being under public works. Just the idea of commingling the funds on projects just doesn't sit well with me, as this whole Fairwood situation and the Statue Bridge just highlights a lot of the stuff that we just see, and that's just one issue. And so, but we get over these hurdles one at a time. And so I'm definitely, because when I come back to you with it, we'll have Mr. Valenzuela on, but we're gonna have construction start dates. See, I don't see, because people do a whole lot of talking. I can't do that, because we have heard a whole lot of things and we have seen absolutely nothing. So I wanted to be start dates so we can hold everybody accountable, because I'm gonna be held accountable. You can hold me accountable, but we're gonna have to learn. Everybody's gonna have to learn how to spell that word. So because we do depend on them to do that.
This is ridiculous.
Yes, Jane, your comments are duly noted. We do appreciate that, and we appreciate all you give to the community. Absolutely. Is there anybody else who has any questions? And so, okay. Is there any?
I don't have a question. I have a comment.
Hello, this is Glenda Collins.
Hey, Sister Collins.
How you doing? First of all, happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay, you're more than welcome. We have a damaged storm drain in our neighborhood, and we have said that. Yes.
Duly noted. And get this, and it's been quite some time now, and that whole she alluded to something too, is that C-click fix system is. I'm asking the city manager to look at other options, because that's just, it doesn't provide the necessary data needed to actually close these projects and get them closed out. So you find that out through their metrics, and so I'm asking to entertain just something that does handle that. But is anybody? Well, let me ask this: is anybody from Jacobs on the call? Anybody from Jacobs on the call? Nobody. Okay. So, but
and
yeah.
maybe, and that may be something that, let's talk about that offline.
Yes, absolutely.
That we need to have, maybe let's do something joint where we bring Jacobs on and, let them hear directly from the residents. I think there's some things that we can do behind the scenes, since we know that the contract is up and, they're going to want to renew it. But I think that, it's one thing for us to say it, but for the residents to be able to say it, I think brings a different dynamic to the table. Where we can probably leverage, the strength in numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the things is, for a scoring criteria for sanitation, I want the customer complaints to be a scoring criteria, because there's one particular company that just complaint escalated. And so I think they have a right to voice their opinion on that as well, because it just is a environmental health issue at this point. And then also that you are right. But we will have staff on that as well, because one of the things is we'll have an open dialogue. And so, because this is that platform. And so you can tell me kick rocks and flip flops, or to continue to work, or whatever, but we're still here. I'm here to not run from the issues, but run to them, so we can address them in a timely fashion and do what we can do.
And let me just add this, because obviously as I'm transitioning from resident to city council, I want to caution us about what we put out on social media, because we all need to be speaking with one voice, with one message. And, to the extent that we can make sure, if we're going to comment out on social media, that we are not putting out in the atmosphere things that, our contractors, our employees, can see, that can then be used to conquer and divide. A divided community can't get anything done. If Jacobs knows that, Corey and I are going to come to them with one level of, negotiation, and then, they can see everything that's being put out on Nextdoor and all these, 11 gazillion Facebook groups where everybody's got an opinion and everybody's commenting. And, it's good to let your voice be heard. But I think all of us can do, the council, mayor, all of us can do a better job of letting our voice be heard in a way that supports what we're trying to get done. We don't want to give anybody, tools that they can use to fight back against us. Because when we start demanding accountability, it's very easy for them to say, well, the residents are out on Nextdoor saying this or saying that. And also, if you could, if you see people that out on social media, maybe not being prudent and wise in their comments, to kind of gently remind them that we want to all be rowing in the same direction. And, we can't be rowing towards getting better quality of life services out of our contractors, but we've got somebody in the back of the boat drilling holes. So if I could make a plea to the residents to please help us in that regard, so that we can all get on the same page, because it's more than just a cliche to say that united we stand and divided we fall.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of my motto is that, in order for this the place you want to be, we have to make it the place where you want to come. And we're going to roll out the red carpet, as I like doing that for anybody who considers South Fulton. And so with that being said, it is 7:32. We was just a little overtime. But I do want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and taking time out of your day to jump on the show.
If we can get 3 more minutes, because Tamiko has had her hands up and she tried before to have a comment. So if we can let Tamiko have her comment and then call it a night.
Hey, thank you to my colleague, because I appreciate that, because I completely forgot as I'm looking at the timer. Go ahead, Tamiko, you have the floor.
So my comment is, one, she didn't let y'all know that I just met her recently, and I told her she's my hero because she didn't show y'all those fingernails she got going on. So she is truly from Old National. That's number one. Number two, Councilman Reeves, I wanted to remind everybody that we just had our senior holiday event this past Thursday. And we did have several other, Commissioner Khadijah came out. We had some state representation. Some of the other council members came out. So code enforcement, the police. So I would definitely say that people need to attend the events as well to get access to the people they want to talk to, because they do come out and talk to you. And we and then
they give you breaking news.
Right. And I think, having, the more with the session coming up, I think one other thing, and, let's you, me, and Corey circle up. One of the things that the Fulton County Democrats does during the legislative session is they sponsor a day on the Hill, where we go up on the Hill to talk to our legislators, to, you know, advocate for things that we want to see. So we want to make sure that we can get that information out into the community so that y'all can come. Again, there's strength in numbers, and, you know, we want to make a good showing. I can tell you, as somebody who used to work under the Gold Dome, the legislators pay attention to who shows up and who doesn't. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
So what you bring an interesting point, because let's collaborate on this, and let's see what we can do. Matter of fact, to ensure that with that date, let us know. Let's plan it out. Let's just go ahead and see if we can list a couple of buses, and so just come down and meet us. And you know what? I want everybody to meet, because I want everybody to see what's happening. We can meet at the Walmart parking lot that morning as we load up and go, because it'll give you insight to growing issues and needs that we have right here in our own community. And so we can definitely go speak about that. And so let's talk about that offline. Let's do that. Let's make sure we get that done. And anybody else who wants to join in, please do that. And I'm again, as Corporal Gavin, would y'all escort us down there so we can just see the South Fulton Rose up for our, you know, with our residents? I'm just putting you on the spot. I'm just don't answer the question. But
Yeah,
however,
and I got a third comment, because I know you leaving. I wanted to say, we tried to get the councilman to cancel his meeting tonight because it was his birthday. And he said no matter what, he was going to be here on Monday night. So I appreciate that you not only came on your birthday, but you made sure you brought our new council woman out to meet us. She comes from a whole nother district. She didn't have to be on here tonight. And I just wanted to say thank you for being so inviting and engaging and coming out.
No, anytime, Corey will tell you, I am a policy wonk. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than to like start delving into issues of policy. And if you let me, I'll talk your ear off.
hey, get this, and it's a good trait. And so, but listen, I do as I respect everybody's time, and it is my birthday, because one of the things is my commitment to this community. This was actually supposed to be in person, and this was going to be last year, but then COVID hit. But however, because I just believe you should always be accessible, particularly locally, because this is your most powerful impact. And as I state, I don't run from anything. I run to it because you deserve the answers. And so, and when I have them for you, but one of the things is we will be able to do is track progress. And so, that being said, thank y'all for taking out your time of y'all day and coming on. Enjoy the rest of y'all festivities tonight. Anybody got 6 lemon pepper wings? I'll take mine. And so with fries on the side. But thank y'all again, and I appreciate you. I really do. All the comments, all the commentary, good or bad, but we're hearing directly from you as you connect with us. And so that being said, each and every single one of y'all have an awesome evening.
Happy birthday. Have a good evening.
Birthday.
Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Bye.